on light is like.
All right, guys. So it looks like we actually made it. Somebody recommended we get Apex Giant Kazoos on the website soon. We're going to have to definitely do that.
Nice.
That has huge potential.
Uh-oh.
I don't know why you wouldn't.
There's a delay somewhere. Hold on a second. Oh, I have a screen. That was me that time. I had a YouTube on the screen over here. So, okay. We're back to All right, guys. Welcome to the Backpackers Blitz. We got a couple of guys with us today. My name is Ben from Hilltop Packs. We're going to explain things here in just a little bit. But first, we're going to introduce everybody. Chad, you want to go first?
Yep, I'm Chad from UGQ. That's it.
All right,
That's
Tim,
all.
Tim next.
I'm Tim, and I'm from nowhere, really, but I work for Ben at Hilltop Packs. Glad to be here.
And
Corey's next.
I'm Corey with Majestic Hammock from Central Iowa.
All right, guys. So we're changing things up just a little bit this week. Last week we did some trivia questions, and while that was fun, I think we're gonna run out trivia questions if we keep doing that. So what we're gonna do this week is we're gonna ask a bunch of questions. Each one of us has one question we're gonna ask every guest that comes on. We'll ask them follow-up questions as well. So again, I'm gonna have a question. Chad's gonna have a question. Tim will have one, and Corey's gonna ask one. We're going to bring guests in. We're going to ask you guys all the same 4 questions. So we're going to bring in somebody here in just a minute. Those same 4 questions, you guys are all going to get the same question. We're going to pick winners from last week's giveaway. We're also going to post a link to this week's giveaway. And we're also going to talk about the stickers from last week as well. So we're all going to talk about the questions we're going to ask this week first. I'm going to ask Chad my first question. And again, these are the questions we're going to ask you guys in a little bit. So Chad, here's the first question. On a night before a backpacking trip, what keeps you awake at night?
Well, that's a loaded question. It's going to take a while to answer. No, I'm just messing. Fun fact: I don't really backpack, so what keeps me up? Probably the thought of hiking is what keeps me up. The thought of moving my body in any laborious way is what keeps me up at night.
Good. Okay, so Chad, you want to ask maybe Tim your question? How about that?
Ooh.
The one I was going to ask my question. So my question is quilt versus sleeping bag, and why? Quilt or sleeping, and why? Which one's your go-to?
Quilt 100%. It's a no-brainer for me. I guess scientifically speaking, there's no sense in having a bunch of insulation you're going to smush, and it doesn't work anyway. And I tend to flail around in my sleep, more importantly. So for me, it's a lot easier to have a quilt because I can move around and I hang my feet out in warm weather, etc. I just can't stand being boxed up in one of them damn stinking sleeping bags.
Hence why we make quilts.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know anybody, I'm sure that's the same story for a lot of people. You roll back in time, you bought your first mummy sleeping bag and spent one night in it before upgrading. Buy once, cry once, as they say.
There you go.
So, yeah, I couldn't imagine using a sleeping bag. That's personal preference. I just can't stand being locked up.
So, Tim, why don't you go and ask Corey your question?
Well, I probably have a lot of questions for Corey. I'll start by admitting, Corey, that I'm new to knowing about your company, and I am a preferred hammocker myself. I use a Superior Gear currently.
There you go.
Again, Minnesota guy, but another Midwest man.
Absolutely. Yeah, Danny's a good guy. Superior's good stuff. Yeah,
it really is. I was looking at yours, and I guess what intrigued me most was the concept that it's is it a looser fit or a looser hang? Is it your claim to fame kind of is that it's no shoulder squeeze and that type of thing? Explain
right. It's a really open and relaxed lay for it. So you don't feel cocooned or squished or whatever. And that's one of the biggest hangups that most gathered ends offer people, and they're always trying to, I guess, fix things. They're trying to eliminate the hyperextension of their knees and things like that. They're putting pillows between their knees so it's more comfortable. They're doing things to adapt. They're just trying to be as comfortable as they can be in whatever they end up hanging in. Mine just tends to be more open. And like you said, I'm new to a lot of people. So I haven't been in this game a long time as far as where people knew me. So,
right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, between what we just spoke about, the relaxed way you cut it, the craftsmanship looks amazing. And I was super excited also about one simple thing: pockets in the hammock. That excited me greatly.
They're a nice feature. They work really well.
Yeah, it said you can even slip like a water bottle in it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Yeah, there's pockets built into both sides. So you've got two pockets on both sides and a sleeve that goes in behind them. That's all the way through. So you can put a water bottle or a newspaper, magazine, whatever, or your phone will slip back in there without falling out. And they're pretty handy. So if you don't have, a ridgeline organizer, not to say that this takes the place of it, but it gives you another place to put stuff.
That's super exciting. I think any hammocker can identify that might be the one singular problem other than a ridgeline organizer, but like my phone and things like that, I like to have close to me. And I've also dropped my phone on my face because I didn't cinch up my organizer. That's how I lost this tooth.
Oh, right.
No, I'm just kidding. Ben, I need to ask one more question. Is that okay? I'm going off.
There's a question on the screen too. I'm not sure if you can see it or not. But
oh yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, even better. So maybe two more questions. Travis asks, does Majestic have a bridge hammock?
So the short answer is no. We don't do a bridge hammock. Mine is a gathered end, but I've heard it compared to almost a crossbreed between a bridge and a gathered end because of how open it lays, like a bridge does. People say it feels more like a bridge because of its openness, but it is a gathered end.
Yeah, this may be a weird analogy, but to me it looks, like your normal gathered end looks like a football, so to speak, whereas this to me kind of looked more like a snub nose football or maybe a rugby football when it's blown out in the wind. You know what I mean? It's just
there you go.
More circular than your typical bridge. It looked insanely cool.
Yeah, well, thanks. You'll have to get in one someday.
Yeah, I'm sure I would love to. I can't wait to. Hopefully, right now I'm in the desert, so. I've been adapting on the ground. But
the Majestic works great on the ground too. So,
for real? Oh,
you need to lay it down.
Put an air mattress
on sleeping bag for you, Tim.
Yeah. You can just wrap it around. It works great. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you say you had one more question for me, Tim, before I go and ask Ben a question?
Yeah, man. Last question is, you also have a bug net. That was the one thing when I was looking through it, I was like, I wasn't sure. I'm often in mosquito territory. Is your bug net just one that goes over it or like underneath it?
Yes, it's a modular one, so you can put it on, take it off as you need it. It's a bottom entry, super easy to use, super simple. But yeah, I hang plenty down in Florida and stuff. I go down south a few times a year. Definitely mosquito territory as well, and it works great. I use it all the time.
Yeah, I think I like a zippered bug net. There's some qualities I like about that, but as an older man who likes to urinate 14 times an evening, they're stealthy. You know what I mean? You can get out of the hammock without the zipper sound. So for all of those of you that pee a lot, something to be thought about. Yeah, sounds awesome, man.
Thanks,
I'll shut up now and let Ben go under the microscope.
I will ask Ben my question then for the night, and that would be, what is one of your biggest regrets in purchasing outdoor gear? What's something you wish you had done differently to begin with, or known different? What'd you buy that sucked?
I bought the biggest backpack I could find. I went to REI and got absolutely the biggest pack they had, because I was a photographer, well, still am, and I wanted to carry all my camera gear out there. And after the very first trip, I was absolutely miserable, and I learned, don't take all the lenses, just take one camera, one lens, smaller backpack. And then of course I started making my own backpacks, but I bought the biggest backpack thinking I was going to take everything with me on that first trip, and that was absolutely miserable. So guys, before we bring in our first guest, which she's in the I guess it's the waiting room, I don't know, what is it, backstage, I'm not sure what that's called. I'm going to post a link. You guys know, you already know the questions now. I'm going to post a link. You guys can wait in the waiting room, and we'll call on you after the next guest here. So click on that link. I'm going to post it right now. Click on that. You'll go backstage or waiting room, whatever it's called. There's no snacks in there, so you're just going to be back there by yourself. Here's our first guest, no stranger to the show.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
Oh, hey.
Oh, hey there.
Hey there, everybody. How's it going today? Just your friendly neighbor to the north.
Oh, you're looking snazzy, eh?
Oh, thanks. Hey, I'm nice and toasty up here in Canada with my UGQ. We got our quilt here.
Look at that.
Oh yeah, you gotta represent and stay nice and warm, because these winters, they're a little bit frosty up here.
Up there in the north, huh?
Oh yeah.
Good deal.
She's a real beaut, Trevor.
So
thank
Trevor,
you.
So real quick before we start,
Trevor outdoors.
So before we start, go ahead and tell everybody your name, where you're from, and how they can follow up and look at all your photography stuff, and then we'll start asking you some questions.
My name's Devin. I'm a Mapleholic and a photographer up in Canada. I run an Instagram account called Salmon Outdoors, and that's about it. You can find my photography there.
That's about it. All right. So I'm going to ask the first question. Okay. So on a night before a backpacking trip, what keeps you awake at night?
The excitement to just get out there and have a good time, and then probably a little bit of fear that I'm going to forget something that's important. But that's what all the prep beforehand is for.
There you go. Good answer. I'm going to pass the next question over to Chad.
What was my question again? I already forgot. Oh yeah. Well, I don't even need to ask you, because it's kind of obvious. I guess I'll ask it anyways. Hammock gear or UG? No, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna.
You can have an alternative question if you want.
No, seriously though. Let me shake it up for you, because we already know that you like quilts.
And that's
when
fair.
did you first get a quilt, and why?
Ooh, it was probably in 2021, I believe. I got my first quilt. It was not a UGQ quilt, actually. It was an Enlightenment equipment. I only have one. I have like 5 UGQ quilts. Okay, so it makes up for it. I got it because I was looking into backpacking more, and everyone seemed to really like quilts for being light, and also, like Tim was saying, actually, I roll a lot in my sleep and kind of toss and turn, and it's so much nicer being in a quilt and not being, stuck in a mummy bag, where you actually have some room, and if you want to vent out a little bit of heat, it's pretty easy. So that's why.
So any concerns being up in the far north with, because a lot of people, and I'm going off rails for 1 second, Ben, so just bear with me. A lot of people complain about quilts not being able to compete with sleeping bags in cold weather. What's your experience been like using a quilt in colder weather?
Yeah, that's actually a good question. I've used my quilt down to like minus 28 Celsius. So I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit off the top of my head, but that's cold.
Nobody
cold.
does.
Yeah, that's pretty cold. And
That's
I
like
was
minus 4 Fahrenheit.
maybe.
It's minus
Unless
18
you
and 0
Googled it.
Fahrenheit. So I just used deductive reasoning and worked my way
Perfect.
backwards.
I'll take your word for it. I was in a hammock though, so it's kind of easy to like pack the sides around a little bit, but on a sleeping pad, I mean, you just kind of button it up at the back. Some people like pad straps. I usually just clip mine as best I can around me. It's a little bit more snug than normal, but it's still kind of cozy. So
Nice. And it's minus 11,
you
by
just
the
deal
way,
with it.
Fahrenheit.
That was pretty close. That was pretty close.
All right, moving on. Next. Not you next. Next question for you.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
I got to pick somebody. Tim, take it away.
All righty. Well, first of all, Chad, let's not get off on the wrong foot with this podcast by doing things like deductive reasoning.
Listen, I just
We don't
said
want to
that.
stoop to that level, you know.
Secondly, my question for Devin is,
Oh no.
Interesting.
That is a nice question. I
don't know how to
Corey,
answer
take it away.
that.
Okay, I'll take over while Tim's thinking.
Tim, you
Are we
froze.
back?
everybody.
He's back.
Oh,
he's back. All right.
Tim, try again.
all right, am I back officially?
Yes, sir.
All right, repeat the following sentence. Hey there, Cheryl. What is this movie about?
Hey there, Cheryl. What's this movie about?
A boot.
That is the correct answer.
Thank
That is
you.
beautiful. Sorry to patronize your heritage, but it's just a beautiful sound to a Minnesotan, you know.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
the best accent ever. It's my favorite.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Thank
I agree. Thank you for humoring me. It's good to see you,
Of course,
Devin.
Tim. Every time. It's good to see you too, buddy.
All right. So he passes that test as far as I'm concerned. I get to be the judge of
I'm
of those
actually a
questions.
Canadian now.
There you
Yeah.
Confirmed.
All right. On to you, Corey.
All right, Devin. Nice to meet you, by the way.
Nice to meet you, Corey.
Thank you, sir. My question is, what is your biggest regret in purchasing a piece of outdoor gear and why?
That is a really good question. And I think everyone has stories about the first thing that they bought that was really stupid. And mine was I bought a 0 degree a sleeping bag that was synthetic because my logic was I can vent it if it's a little bit warmer than that. You know, I can use it in the wintertime because I'll just unzip it and use it as a blanket. I've used it twice in the last like 8 years, and it was because I was also using my other, quilts or sleeping bags. So that one was just not really a great idea, but I figured it was the most flexible if I just got the warmer one of all the sleeping bags. So yeah, that was a stupid mistake.
Thank you very much. All right, Ben, on to you.
All right. So, Devin, we're going to kick you out of here, buddy. Good talking to you.
It's good talking to you guys too.
All right, man. We're going to bring in
Thanks, Devin.
Thomas next. So, we're going to remove you from the stage and kick him out of the studio. I'm trying to learn how to do all this cool stuff. So, Thomas, we're going to bring him in next. There he is. So, Chad, I'll let you ask the first question. If you want to introduce yourself there, Thomas, get right ahead. Where are you from? What's your name?
I'm Thomas Getner. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Ben, we've met a few times. I've been down to the shop and we've talked about. I'm the trail building guy.
Oh, that's okay. You look familiar. I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
As soon as you start talking, all right. I
Yeah.
recognize you now. Good deal. It's been a minute.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania-based backpacker. I'm actually going to hit a section of the Appalachian Trail up in 2 weeks. Finish up my miles in Pennsylvania from Delaware Water Gap back to Sawarda Gap. So we have about 115 miles. I'll do in 5.5 days.
Nice. Good deal.
Heck
Well, we're going to let Chad go
Good job.
first. He's gonna ask his question. Go ahead, buddy.
Do you remember my question? You have to know it by now.
Was it the difference between sleeping bags and quilts?
Which one do you
Or is it-
prefer? Which one do you use
Oh.
and why?
Well, I'm a hammock guy, so quilts. And then I do sleep on the ground from time to time. and I adapted the quilts that way too. That was a late adaptation. I think once I was on the ground, just to feel comfortable. But yeah, I'm quilts all around.
Okay, follow-up question. Even though I don't want to know the answer because you would have said it by now if it was what I hoped it was. Whose quilts are you using?
My 20 degrees are hammock gears, and my 40 degrees are Simply Light designs.
Well, I'll let that one slide. The first one I can't forgive.
Sorry about that.
Me and Adam
Next
are
time
really
I'm in the market.
pick on him.
Next time
All
I'm in
right,
the market, I'll check yours out.
Awesome. All right, Corey, on to you, bud.
All right, Thomas. Hey, nice to meet you on here.
Same.
My question for you, sir, is what is one of your biggest regrets in purchasing outdoor gear and why?
So I'm actually going to piggyback off the whole quilts thing. The first 2 quilts I got, because I'm a hammock guy, I just got regular width, and I didn't get with pad strap attachments. And so once I did start realizing how much I liked quilts when sleeping on the ground, I was pissed at myself for not having the foresight in getting a wide version with pad straps. So I kind of regretted that. I did eventually get caught up with one of those, but yeah, I think that was the thing that, it would have been a few dollars more. Should have just done it in the first place. Buy once, cry once, eh?
You got it. You got it. Good answer.
Yeah.
All right,
Thanks.
next question's on Tim for you.
Well, just in response to the comment Ben put up on the screen about a second channel called Timbuktu. Man, that's a fantastic title.
That is a great title.
There you go.
I don't have the energy for a second channel. I barely do my first channel any justice. But on to Thomas. Nice to meet you, Thomas.
Same.
I guess I missed the memo on I have to ask the same question every time.
You can modify a little bit if you want to. It's okay.
Yeah,
There's no
I'm
rules.
just going to wing it at this point in time. So, Thomas, I've kind of been up in your area a little bit when I visited Ben, and I lived in Northeast Ohio. Just curious, like, where do you go if you just want to do an overnight from Pittsburgh?
Oh, we got a lot of great options. My favorite state park is Moraine State Park, and the North Country Trail runs through it. There's a series of backpacking shelters halfway through, so that's one. But there's other great options. Allegheny National Forest isn't too far away. Laurel Highland Hiking Trail, Quebec Run's not far. Dolly Sods is not far, and then all of Central Pennsylvania, Black Forest Trail, Mid-State Trail. Those are the same 3 hours. So we're in a great location for backpacking.
Yeah, I've been up near the Alleghenies, and I really, really enjoyed that. But yeah, it's cool to have some options. It sounds like you got a lot, just in case I ever move out to Pennsylvania. I'll know a little bit.
We have a national scenic trail that runs right through Western Pennsylvania. So the North Country National Scenic Trail. Really great to just be able to hop on that for an overnighter. I get to do that in several different counties here, and it's just a privilege.
Nice. Well, nice to meet you, Thomas. Pass you on to Ben.
Yeah. So my question is, on a night before a backpacking trip like you have coming up, what do you think will keep you awake at night?
Good question. How much I have to poop before I leave the house, and then how much I might have to poop when I get to trail.
That is facts right there.
Facts.
My trail name is Two Holes. I got that on the Wonderland Trail. When we were going around a switchback and I was in a panic. I needed to find a place under tree cover that I could dig my cat hole. And while filling that first cat hole, I realized it wasn't going to be enough. So I had to dig a second one right there. So once I caught up with all my hiking buddies, that's when I earned my trail name, Two Holes. Yeah,
that is one of the funnier trail names I've heard.
So good.
Well, Thomas, thank you very much, buddy, for checking in with us. Have fun on your trip. Definitely check in. Let me know how you did, man. Post some pictures and stuff and send them to us. I want to see it.
Oh, for sure, dudes. Take care.
All right, buddy. Have a good one.
Take care, buddy.
I'll kick him out of the studio here. We're going to bring up Tony. There he is. All right. So, Tony, tell us all about yourself. Where are you from, buddy?
I'm from Jewel, Iowa.
Tony Boney for phony money.
Where do you like to hike at? Where's some hiking trails you like to hike at?
Not a lot in Central Iowa, as Corey kind of knows. There's hiking trails, right? Much for backpacking. But
which field are you hiking through?
What's that?
I said, which cornfield are you hiking through?
The one just south of Little Wall Lake.
There you go. What town did you say you're from?
Jewel.
Jewel. Okay, very good. You're close.
Yeah, very close. So
Yeah.
we survived the snowpocalypse today.
That's good. I'm in Michigan right now, so I haven't experienced it.
Lucky you.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Okay, so Tony, I'm going to let Corey, since you guys are similar parts of the world, I'm going to let Corey start first with his question.
There you go. Same one I had for the last one. Nice to meet you, by the way, Tony.
very nice to meet you.
What's one of your biggest regrets you've had in purchasing outdoor gear, and why?
I'd say my biggest regret is probably I've jumped on the Ultra fad, and I found a guy on Marketplace that didn't like them, so I bought 5 pairs for like $20 a pair, which is a steal, but they wrecked my feet pretty bad. So, zero drops, and yeah, I got arthritis in my big toes and plantar fasciitis, all that fun stuff, and it quickly learned that shoes are an individual thing. So I'm rocking something different.
I can't
now.
do the zero drop either at all. I can't do it.
I thought I would do okay, and it trashed my feet. So I'm rocking something different, but it's unique to everybody. Every shoe is unique to the individual. So
Yep. Good answer. Chad, why don't we go to you next?
What?
Never mind. Tim, why don't we go to you next?
This is the story of my life. Always never prepared.
Yeah.
So my question is, are you a quilt guy or are you a sleeping bag guy?
was a sleeping bag guy. Last summer up on the Centennial Trail, I tried switching to a quilt just to experiment. I bought a cheap Aegis Max 40-degree wind hard something just to try it. I pushed the limits of that thing because it got into the 40s on that trip, but I enjoyed it a lot more because I'm a toss and turner, and I have my old go-to was a Nemo Disco, and I would basically get twisted up in that thing. So like it, but I don't sleep well in sleeping bags. So
well, if you don't have a UGQ quilt yet, use the code Ben is awesome, and you'll get 10% off your order.
That is a legit code. Ben is awesome.
After seeing Tim's setup I kind of went all in this winter, but I haven't had a chance to use much. And I picked up a couple extra quilts to go with my Superior Gear stuff, and I got a couple UGQs off the Marketplace. So,
oh well, lucky you. I'm gonna go see what else is alive. Jeez. Oh, I gotta pass it on to somebody. Hey, it was nice meeting you, Tony. Ooh, who do I want? You look really focused, Tim. I'm gonna pass it on to you. You look like you're just lasered in. You got a question ready.
Well, I've got a lot of questions. Tony and I have had the pleasure of meeting on trail in, like he said earlier, the Centennial Trail. How you doing, Tony?
Really good.
Yeah.
Feeling a lot better. Got pretty sick off that hike, but hey.
I thought you transitioned beautifully. You knew I was probably going to bring it up, but Tony has a not so pleasant story. In 2 minutes or less, tell the audience what happened to you it was the northern half of the Centennial Trail, correct?
So yeah, basically in 2 minutes or less, I was up at Dalton Lake for the night. It was actually 4th of July, and I set up my tent not too far from the trail, heading in a cow pasture. Try to find a spot without cow patties, thistles, or anything else. And ate my supper, laid down, and started hearing buzzing underneath my tent. So thought I had a bee or two underneath there, but it turned out I think I set it up on a hornet's nest. And pulled everything up, put everything in my pack, packed everything I could, and ran for the trailhead and called John, the shuttle guy up there, and he came and got. By the time I got away, I heard buzzing all around. But so my tent is now somewhere probably in the National Forest or the Forest Service stash of lost and found.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, jeez.
So yeah,
I'm gonna give you a pass on that one.
That was my. I called them, let them know I was there, but I was like, I'm not coming back for this thing.
Yeah, just leave no trace unless that happens, and then you're cool.
Yeah. Well, I could hear the buzzing from about 100 yards away, so I was like, I'm not.
Oh wow.
Golly, man.
They were not happy with me, so
that's awful.
Was that the same day Tony and I had some phone service? Was that the same day too? We got caught in that. We were on different parts of the trail, and was that the same day with that massive storm that rolled through?
That hailstorm? No, that was like a day or two after that.
Okay.
But literally, I think if Buckley hadn't been so slow, I'd have probably been zapped by lightning. 'Cause we were coming out of the Rushmore area, and we got hit by hail and rain, and it was bad. But if I hadn't woke up early and hiked with Tim for a few miles, I probably would have been at the high point of the trail by the time that storm rolled through. So,
Jeez.
Tony, you SOB. I was gonna talk about how fast a hiker you were to cover up my own personal speeds, and you had to go and twisted it. You twisted it, buddy. Oh man, well, it's good to see you.
Very nice to see you too, man.
We'll be in touch. I'm sure Ben's got a doozy coming up for you.
It's the same doozy I've had for the last 3 guests. So on a night before a backpacking trip, what keeps you awake at night besides bees?
Bees.
Logistics. I overthink things, and I think, where I'm going to camp, where I'm going to set, mileage, distance. I'm constantly calculating numbers in my head and times and moving speeds and all that fun stuff. It's kind of a curse comes with being an engineer. So
I was just going to ask what you do for a living, so that makes sense.
Yeah, so it's one of those. I've got 3 alternate plans going in my head of where, when, where, how, all that fun stuff. It's usually me versus myself when I hike. So
it's a good answer. Well, have fun out there. We're gonna kick you out of here now.
Sounds
We're gonna
good.
bring in the next guy, but Tony, thanks for
Tony.
joining us.
Tony.
Your name,
Thanks, gentlemen.
always see your name bounce around, so keep participating. We appreciate that. Okay, we're gonna bring in Doc Watson next here in just a second. But why don't we, before I do that, we want to draw the winners from last week. Should we do that?
Yeah.
So
Might as
let
well.
me
Shake it
let
up
me
a
figure
little.
out how to do it first. I probably should have had this all planned out ahead of time. There should be 6 winners. I'm gonna try to pull it up on the screen. I have not done this ahead of time. So let's do let's see. Can you there? Okay. So we're in the bottom corner. So I'm going to pick some winners. This is for last week's drawing. And if you guys want to join this week's giveaway, I'll post a link here in just a second. But here we're gonna pick the winners. And I will go through and email all these later on. I have all the contact information on these people. So Devin, looks like you're in there. Okay, everybody see the winners on the screen. I'm going to save those, and then I will contact everybody with your different codes. The person at the top will win the $100, and the rest of them win the secondary prizes. Okay, congratulations to those winners. So this week's winners, I'm actually going to post the link here in a second. The link is also on the bottom of our website. It's hilltoppacks.com. Go all the way to the bottom. You're going to see Backpackers Blitz. I'm sorry, you're going to see just Blitz. Backpackers Blitz, but the link is right here. I'm posting it right now. You can sign up anytime between now and next Wednesday for next week's drawings. There's going to be, how many winners did I say it was?
6.
20?
Yes, 6 winners. I think they're $25 each. You're going to win one from Hilltop Packs and one from UGQ. So you're going to get basically $50 worth of gear. There's 6 winners. We're going to draw those next week. So you have all week to sign up. You can go back to that same page every day and get extra entries. There's different ways to enter. You can visit websites and get all kind of different extra points entered into the drawing. So all the information is on the link there. I just posted it. The link's also on the website at the very bottom of hilltoppacks.com where it says Backpackers Blitz. Okay, so we're going to bring in Mr. Doc Watson. He's been here before. How you doing, sir?
Turn your mic on, Doc.
There we go. There he is. Okay. So, Doc, nice to see you again. Uh-oh, he's cutting out. So, Doc, can you hear us?
Can you hear me okay?
You're starting to come to. Can you hear us now?
I can hear you.
All right, good deal.
Looks a little better now. Oh, he muted again. Oh, now he's unmuted.
All right,
Live narration.
I talked. Let's see if that helped.
Okay, I'm going to try to give you a question, see how that works out, and we'll give it at least
okay?
a shot. I'm going to ask you a question. We'll try. If it doesn't work, we'll kick you out. No worries. So on a night before a backpacking trip, Doc, what keeps you awake, buddy?
Packing. I'm usually packing till 1 and 2 a.m.
Good deal. I'm going to pass the next question over to Chad.
So my
Can
question.
you hear me okay?
Yep, we can hear you. Just a little delay. No big deal.
All right.
My question is, are you more fans of UGQ or Hilltop Packs? Why do you love? I'm just kidding. That's not my question. clearly we know that you like Corey with Majestic Hammock more than anyone. What is, oh, sorry, I'm getting squirrels. There's too many things happening on my screen. Are you a quilt man or a sleeping bag man?
I do both.
Or neither.
I like the quilts, but I do have a couple mummies that I use. I unzip. I use them like a quilt as a closed foot box.
Nice. That was it. That was my whole question. So you're done. Next. Oh, Corey, go for it.
We're so bad at this.
I'm such a great host.
Oh
By
no.
the end of March, we're going to be perfect at this.
Well, now that I can hear Doc, where are you from?
New England. I live in Maine and New Hampshire.
Very good, very good. Nice to meet you on here, bud. My question for you is, what's one of your biggest regrets in purchasing gear, and why?
I don't know. I typically buy cheap until I determine what features I like, and then I'll buy better. I did buy a couple really crappy cheap items, usually Walmart brand, but I learned from it. So it's a learning experience, and I didn't spend much money on it.
There you go. That's kind of part of the process for most people, isn't it?
Yep.
Good answer, man. Thank you. Let's go back to Ben for your question.
So I think I asked him my question at
Oh.
first. We're going to send over to Tim.
Sorry.
Tim? That's
I'm out of
okay.
order here. Back to Tim then.
First of all, let me say this is great, Ben. Chad is terrific comic relief.
We were desperate.
I'm
He was
loving
cheap.
it.
He was
I'm
cheap. We were
absolutely loving it.
That's not me being comedic. That's just me literally trying my hardest. Okay.
Well, maybe I identify with you deeply, Chad, but I'm finding it utterly hilarious because I see a lot of myself in you.
UGQ is known to be one big joke. So thanks, Tim. Appreciate it.
See, I'm enjoying the hell out of this. Hey, Doc, how you doing?
Doing well.
Good to see you again. So, Doc, you're a hammocker, correct?
Correct.
Were you on when Corey was talking about his hammocks?
Yes, I was.
So, what do you think? What are your thoughts on it?
Does he have any winter cover options? I asked, because I do like camping.
Oh, like a top cover?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it's called a big UGQ quilt with a scully, and you'll be solid.
that's actually how I do it. I don't have anything specific for like a permanently attached winter cover per se. Tarp and the right quilts. That's how I do it. So that's what I go with too.
Yeah, I've been in pursuit of the perfect winter cover before too, and
What'd you find?
I've only found condensation, which I mean, some people deal with that just fine. It doesn't bother them in the least, but for me, I don't know. I'm too finicky.
Yeah, I've
I
got
don't
a
like
hammock
anything
gear
wet.
winter cover that works pretty good. And I used an Outdoor Vitals quilt. So it works pretty good.
Right. And coincidentally, I'm sure Chad's underquilts probably pair with the hammock that Corey makes, I would assume.
Fun fact, we actually have pockets on our underquilts also for your phones and stuff.
Well,
Oh,
I'm
nice.
using Corey's pockets.
You can
I'm
use
not
more
using
than one
yours.
pocket, okay?
All right. Yeah, I do carry a fair amount of accessories, so to speak, on trail.
There you
So
go.
it would be nice to separate them all. I'll use yours too, Chad.
No, you won't.
Well,
I will
I
never
work at a
sell you
front
one.
desk of a hotel, and Ben, pays me in rubles, so I got to save up
Listen,
some money
the
before
way
I
the
can meet
economy is
either one of you.
going, you just keep holding on to those because you'll be set here soon. I'm certain.
Live like a king.
All right, I'm done. That's all. Good to see you, Doc.
All right, Doc.
Good
I
to see
think
you
that's
too.
all 4 questions for you, buddy. Is there anything else for Doc? You
All
guys
right.
ask any other questions? We good before he breaks up and disappears? Okay. Well, Doc, thank you very much, buddy,
Thank
for
you, Doc.
tuning in and joining with us.
Okay.
We'll do it again next week. I'm gonna kick you out of here. Okay.
Yep.
Good seeing you, buddy. All right. So next up, we're bringing a guy that most of us know. His name is Rob. Before I bring him in, I do want to show what the giveaway page looks like. So if you click the link I've been posting, it looks like this. So if you go click on that link or go to the website and go to the bottom, it says Backpackers Blitz. You're going to come to a page. It's going to show all the stuff that we're giving away. We're giving away 6 $25 gift certificates to Hilltop Packs and 6 to UGQ. So you get $50 worth of gear from 2 different companies. Pretty cool. Just enter your email address right here. That way we can spam you. And then down below, there's different ways to get more entries. So this giving us your email just gets you 1 entry. But you can go to visit our Facebook page, TikTok, Instagram, all the different websites, even the UGQ website. And I got to make sure the UGQ website actually works. And I notice there's a comma instead of a period in there. Anyway, you can do that multiple times. Go back every day, get more entries every single day, every 24 hours, and you're good to go. And hopefully you win something next week. Okay, we're going to bring in our next guest. Everybody knows this guy. Most of us, 3 out of 4 of us, like this guy. There he is.
Your mic's muted, Robert.
Let me unmute him. I got you. There he is.
There.
You're on. You did something right. I am so proud of you.
Yes. I clicked the button.
Okay, has everybody in the room here met Rob before? Has Corey met him?
I have not.
Well, then, Corey, I'll let you two talk for a second. You guys can get to know each other.
Hey, Corey, how are you?
I'm good. Rob, how are you, bud?
I'm good. I tuned in a little late. I apologize for that. I was actually driving, kind of tuning in, and literally just got to the office here. And you chose me. I'm so lucky. So stoked that this is going on. You've got some of the most amazing humans on the planet right in front of me. So, man, I'm in good company.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And
Where you
your name
from?
was- Your name was shut up, Ben. Gosh darn it. I had a line and you ruined it. Just forget it. I can't take this anymore.
No, we'll reset. Keep talking. Chad, give us your line. I'll pretend like I laugh. I promise. Go ahead. Go.
It's too late. It would just sound so awful. You know, I've been on so many trips with YouTubers, and you've probably experienced this too, where they're like, hey, say that again. Let me get my camera out so I can film you saying it. And I'm like, no, that's not going to sound the same at all. I'm pretty sure Rob's done that to me before.
I'm sure it's going to sound just as funny as if it was going to sound the first time you're going to say it.
So it will only make sense to Rob because I'm sure nobody else saw my podcast with Rob where I was calling him Bob Relton the entire time.
Good times.
There was a thing, but just forget it.
So before we start, people in the chat, there's only like 30 people or whatever it was. And we're on Facebook and on YouTube, by the way. So I'm not sure how many people are on each
And my Instagram.
And your Instagram. So it's actually bigger than last week, which is cool. Anyway, so Rob, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and you're kind of living that nomad life for a certain company. If you want to talk about that, you can. Go right ahead.
Sure. Rob
You have
Pelton.
30 minutes.
I'm one of those YouTuber guys, and the one thing I'll say about YouTuber guys, and you know, there's some company here. We're not geniuses and we're not experts. We're just people who happen to have a cell phone and have the audacity to film ourselves and expect people to watch. So the only thing we share is our follies, and sometimes there's some wisdom in there. But I will say, through doing this, I've got to meet a lot of really, really cool people. So yes, you can find me on the YouTubes, and currently for work, me and my partner Janelle, we're traveling the country doing educational workshops about Leave No Trace. So we actually work for Leave No Trace, and I think our messaging right now is probably more important than it's ever been, because we need people to start taking care of these spaces. Yeah. So yeah, there we are.
I have a question. Because you guys left some trash here in the shop when you were here last. So
No.
I don't know.
No, that's just like when you first started dating someone and you leave something there on purpose, knowing you have to go back.
Yeah,
Genius.
it's just a bunch of hammock gear quilts, and I don't know what to do with them. So
Well, you know what to do with them. You reclaim the down and remove the logos and call it good.
All right, Chad, why don't you ask your first question? We'll start the questions here with Rob.
ooh, hey Rob, buddy, old pal.
Hey, bud. How you doing there, bud?
Long time no see.
Yeah, we'll see you soon.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're coming up soon, right?
Yep.
Cool. So for those of you that don't know, Rob actually comes and sleeps right here. He parks his car right inside the shop, and that's where he sleeps when he comes.
Yeah.
Him and his
Thanks for keeping our room clean. Appreciate that.
yeah,
Hey.
Corey did that.
I've been there all week. It's a mess right now. There's dust everywhere, bud.
Wait till you see what we built, though. It's so
And
awesome.
I've slept right there too. So
Yeah, he slept there. There's a lot of people that have slept here and there. Anyways, I I know the answer to this question, but everybody else doesn't know the answer to this question. Are you a quilter? Or are you a sleeping bag guy? And what's your favorite hammock? Your favorite quilt company?
Well, I have both. I just like everyone else, we started with sleeping bags because that's kind of all we had, and you dealt with it because that's the only option that was available. And then you graduate to quilts, and there's a wisdom in getting quilts because they're much more comfortable, they're a lot more functional, and if you're a hammocker, getting in and out of your hammock and into your quilt is 1,000 times easier. And we all know about down compression, blah, blah, blah. We can bore you about that all night. But for the most part,
tell me.
For the most part, quilts. We slept. How many days have we slept in our quilts so far this year?
Last month, 18 days, February.
We slept in our quilts 18 days last month, and we're continuing to sleep in our quilts this month. As far as my favorite quilt company, there's a place.
Here it comes.
Costco.
Yeah, they make Costco. They repurpose Costco quilts.
Same.
Super high quality. I will say that I'm not biased here in any way because I happen to know the guy, but UGQ makes some quilts that are pretty hard to beat. They're light enough and they're durable. We use them just about every day, and they're still going strong. I have a 30 degree. I've taken it down to 19 degrees. Granted, I have some natural insulation that helped. Janelle has a 20 degree, taking it down to 19 degrees.
Hey, your body's a 10, okay? Let's just get that straight.
Yeah, I appreciate that. But quilts all the way, by far. I still do have some sleeping bags, and I haven't used one in years and years and years.
Nice. Great answer. Thanks for the lengthy answer that nobody asked for.
Yeah, you got the spelling of my name right. You can cut the check later.
I'm going to pass it on to who I was the first one to ask a question, right?
Yep.
Who's not asking a question? What just happened there? That was like some ninja move. I'm going to pass it over to Tim. Tim, take it away.
Hey, Rob.
Hey, Timba.
How are you?
I am excellent. I'm so glad to see you on this. You need to step up, though. We need some energy, and we need some of those insightful, sarcastic.
Oh, you were talking to him? Sorry.
And he's just Chad is out of control, just 100% of the time. That's just
Yeah, he's providing that until I get my comfort level with this live stuff. I prefer.
You should meet him in person because he's completely the same, which is good and bad. So,
well, and Ben sent me like 3 paragraphs of things I can't talk about. So that was a thing.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, what was it, 14 or 17 words I can't use.
Oh, well,
17.
It's a work in progress.
One of them coincidentally was 2 holes.
Well, we've already heard that a few times tonight. So
that is still the greatest name of all time. I don't care what anybody says. That is great.
Fantastic.
Oh man, how do I ask Rob Pelton one question? He's like, you're one of my top 7 best friends of all time.
Ooh. Wow, that's a high honor.
Well, I love you,
Is
buddy.
it though?
I really do. Rob has. Well, I'll tell a quick little story about Rob. One of my favorite. We've spent a fair amount of time together on trail, probably more than any of my friends. And one time in the midst of one of many of my transition periods, we'll say, I was having a tough time, and Rob drove out to the Badlands like 9 hours just to do an overnight with me. And that's where he moved from best friend number 8 to best friend number 7. And now I haven't done a 2025 pros and cons yet, but he might be top 3.
Ooh.
But it is good to see. Where are you, Rob?
Boulder, Colorado right now.
Oh, you're at the actual home office. Awesome.
Home. Yeah, we're sleeping. I'm sleeping right here, right there tonight. That's where I'm sleeping tonight.
Well, that's bougie for our types, right?
Oh yeah, there's running water and there's plumbing. It's amazing.
Absolutely, man. So this year things are changing for you a bit due to fewer teams on the road with Leave No Trace, right? So you are covering a lot more territory, right?
Yeah, we're covering the whole 3/4 of the U.S. The only part we're not getting to, Janelle and I, is the Pacific Northwest. Those programs will be handled by in-house staff. But we've seen some effects of some of the resource cuts and things like that. We've definitely are dealing with that firsthand.
And this is year 2 for you on the road.
Yeah, year 2 for us. We liked it so much, we decided to do it again.
Man, well, I'm excited. Are you going to be in the Arizona area at all?
Probably around Thanksgiving.
Really?
Mhm.
Oh, I'll be if I end up there, I might be gone by then, but we'll see each other sometime this summer, I hope.
Oh, I'll find you. Don't worry.
Hey, Rob, Janelle told me to ask what you've been doing all day and who drove.
So you try sitting in the passenger seat of a woman who drank 4 cups of coffee in 10 minutes, driving in a blizzard on an overpass with semis and people driving slow in the left lane, and
And why can't we see her right now? That's what I want to know.
I was just going to ask that too.
she's
I can hear her. I know
Hi,
she's
Janelle.
Hi, guys.
yeah, she's over there relaxing, just laughing at us because we're all really dumb.
Well, dude, it's good to see you. I can't wait to see you in person again sometime soon. It was awesome when you came down to Texas. It always makes my day when Mr. Pelton comes rolling through like a tumbleweed.
That's right.
And Janelle's been a great addition to the team. She spices things up.
It's the other way around. Rob is the addition to Janelle. And for those of you that don't know, Janelle is probably top 10 best sports player in the world.
Sports ball.
Thank you.
No, just all sports in general.
Yeah.
She came in here and whooped me in basketball, ping pong, cornhole, darts, literally everything I thought I was going to crush everyone at. And she was like, no, watch
Olympic
this.
stuff. Yeah, she spent her time. She's trained a lot.
Ridiculous.
All right, buddy. Well, we'll talk soon. Thanks for coming on, man. Is anybody, Corey, did you ask a question?
I haven't asked him a question
yeah.
yet.
Rob is known as a hammock man, so this might be
I like
the
this.
most
It's
interesting
a
segment.
pleasure to speak with you tonight. So
Thank you.
the question I've asked the rest of the guests on here tonight was, what was one of your biggest regrets in a purchase of some piece of outdoor gear, and why?
Actually, something comes to mind. So as I was going through my backpacking process on the search to be ultralight, right? Because ultralight was the thing. I kind of jumped on a lot of bandwagons, and I wanted to have the latest and greatest thing. Because if you didn't know, the newer and more expensive your hiking gear is, the better hiker you are. Just to let you know.
I've heard that. Yes.
But I was gonna. I had to try out a tent because I had a trip coming up that required a tent. But so I wanted the lightest pad that was quality. So I bought one of those Thermarest Uber lights, super light, really nice, way too expensive. Very, very first night, the nozzle leaked, it deflated, and I had a sore hip for 2 days. I have healthy hips, and I've never had a sore hip since then.
I've been saying that since the day I met you, by the way.
Yeah, well, I'm saying. But yeah, an Uber light. Yeah, it was uber terrible.
Well, yeah, you learned the lessons kind of the hard way in that, don't you?
The best lessons learned are the hard way, unfortunately.
You only do them once.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
Unless
Well,
you have
good
2
answer.
holes.
I'm so glad you did that, because that's literally all I could think about this whole time. It's not left my head. I can't stop. Did you hear that story, Rob?
No.
I was going to say, I don't think he was in the background when that story was told tonight. So
Ben, fill him into that story real fast.
Real quick, a guy went to the bathroom and he filled the hole up. He had to dig a second hole. It was so big, so his buddy started calling him 2 holes. it's just a great story.
That was on earlier.
You can say your trail name's 2 holes, and your mind just goes crazy. And then he explains that it's still funny, but just without the explanation, it's.
He should have got the Apex Giant, the bigger shovel, not the little one.
You're gonna
That's
need
where he
2
went wrong.
shovels.
The big dirt diggler for sure.
I'm gonna sell him 2 shovels. Okay,
There
so
you
I think I'm up next. So Rob, I'm actually gonna skip my question to give you a question from the group over here. And if you want to talk about this, you can. I hope you can. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to talk about how people can support you and your cause out there. If you want to talk about it, you can, if you're allowed.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, if you want to support the organization, Leave No Trace. Obviously, a lot of our funding comes from memberships. We have partners and things like that. So I can provide a link if you want to become a member. That's like a $50 a year thing, and there are perks though. If you become a Leave No Trace member, if you're going to buy a Subaru, you can get like $3,000 off a Subaru. You can get discounts on all kinds of outdoor gears from Black Diamond and Mountain Hardware and everything like that. So you get all those perks in addition to supporting the actual organization. If you want to
can you
support me in general, straight hard cold cash always works.
There you go.
Or
That's where I was going with that.
I am trying to get Starlink though, because I can't post as often because I'm in the middle of nowhere. So maybe I'll start a Starlink fund. I don't know.
Hey, do you need a sponsor for Starlink?
Yeah, hook it up.
All right, Ben, can you sponsor him? He
So
needs
I'm already sponsoring Tim with Starlink. So maybe talk to Tim. He's already got me broke with Starlink. So maybe Chad could pay for Rob's
I'll
Starlink.
call Adam. Let me get Adam on the phone real quick from Hammer Gear, see if he's got the funds.
Otherwise, the biggest thing you could do as far as supporting me, what I do is when you go outside and enjoy these natural spaces, just do a little bit to take care of them. Pack out your own trash, maybe be nice to people. Maybe don't try to pet the local bison herd, these kinds of things. Just try to leave these places better than what you found it. That's going to go a long way. So that I'd appreciate.
Also, there's a whole podcast that we shot with him that gives a lot more detail on everything Leave No Trace is doing. So go check that out on our YouTube channel. Whoop, whoop.
Right. Coincidentally, Rob Pelton's favorite quilt company. So
weird.
Good answer. All right. Well, Rob, we're going to kick you out here, buddy. Thank you for jumping in here. It's good talking to you, man.
Thank you.
Rob.
Great seeing you.
Love you, buddy.
Can you turn the camera towards Janelle so we can all wave to Janelle and say bye?
She's pooping.
Oh,
well,
grab her.
moved
Just
on.
peek
Oh,
the phone in.
She's done.
She's going to be so mad at you when she watches this back.
Okay.
Hi,
Bye,
lady friend.
Janelle.
Bye, Janelle.
Hope your poop was nice.
See you guys.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you soon, man. Catch you later.
Thanks, brother.
Okay, up next, we got a guy. We got Ghost Mule. Here he is. Turn your microphone
he really is a
on.
ghost. I can't even hear him.
Sorry.
There you go. All right. Let us know. Tell us where you're from. What's your name, buddy?
First off, I feel a little bit robbed that I have to be past or right after the Rob Pelton show. But yeah, so my name
he was
is
the opener.
Yeah, my name is Calman. My trail name is Ghost Mule, and I currently reside in the great state of Montana, but I'm originally from Ohio.
Good deal. Okay, we're gonna start asking you some questions, and maybe we'll go with. Reluctantly, we're gonna go with Chad first.
Always.
You guys are out of control. I don't think I'm coming back. That's.
I
Promise?
Hey, you're definitely not coming back. And
I'm the guest. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
that office you're looking in though is looking quite nice.
it's not bad. It's not bad. That'll work for tonight.
Anywho, so if you haven't heard my question so far, my question is quilt related, obviously. What is your go-to choice, quilt or sleeping bag, and why? And then follow-up question: what one are you using?
So the last couple of years have been a quilt user. I do enjoy quilts because again, easier range of motion, lighter weight, all that stuff. You're gonna hate me, but my current one is a Western Mountaineering Astrolite.
That doesn't count. I don't even count them. They're so much better than us that it's like they're not even my competition. So what real quick, what got you into or when did you get your first quilt, and what was that transition like for you?
So I probably have had a quilt here for the last few years. Before that, I had a Western Mountaineering sleeping bag. I work for, I will until the end of this month. I work for a store that is a Western Mountaineering distributor. Gotcha. And so I was talking to the rep, and he told me that they were getting ready to come out with them. And I thought, well, if Western Mountaineering is going with quilts, then they're probably here to stay because they don't change things ever.
They saw what UGQ was doing, and they're like, we got to do that.
I think that is 100%.
That's what
exactly
happened.
what they told me. Just like, you can't even compete with these guys. So yeah, I made the switch, and very happily haven't looked back. It does pretty well up here in Montana.
Nice. Well, if you're ready for a UGQ quilt, use the code Ben is awesome. Good for 10% off your order site wide.
Awesome.
That's a real code.
It is a real code.
But is it true?
What was your question? What were you going to ask?
I said, is it true though? Is Ben awesome?
Well, listen, I've only known Ben actually, believe it or not, me and Ben have actually only known each other for how long? A month?
A couple weeks.
Yeah, less than that. So it to be determined. It might be something different next week. We'll see what the code evolves into over time.
Young love, it could fall apart anytime. You never
Honeymoon phase.
Yeah,
Wait,
honeymoon
which
phase.
one of us is the young one? Because
Well,
according to the guy at Home Depot the other day, he thought that I was 7 years older than Corey,
That
who
made
is
me feel
49,
real good. That was easy.
and I'm 33.
can anybody believe that Corey is 49 years old? That still makes no sense. He does not look like he's 49. I'm
Nope.
52, and I look like I'm 59.
I literally went to the store after Home Depot and got some hair dye to
Whoa.
get the gray out of my beard.
I just
7
Come on,
years
Chad.
old.
So
Okay.
I set Chad up pretty good on that one because the guy at Home Depot, when we were chatting with him, the way I phrased my question was, how much older do you think he is? Speaking of Chad, how much older do you think he is than me? And it already put it in his head, and he thinks for a minute. And he's like, I think probably 7 years, And I'm like, I'll take that as the answer. That's perfect. It
It's
was great.
frustrating.
the new trail name, 7 years.
There you
I think we
go.
got some questions. We got some questions, right? Who's
Sorry,
going? Did you ask your question yet?
Okay,
Who'd you-
sorry, boss.
Come on, man.
Next. Someone else take over. I don't even want to
Did
do
you-
this anymore. I'm out of here.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Tim. Go for it.
man. Well, first of all, I put this gray in my beard, and I'm only 23.
You look good. You look
Yeah,
good.
yeah, thank you.
You're-
Very trendy.
Secondly, Goat's Milk. Repeat your first name again.
Calvin.
Did you say?
Kalman.
I heard goat's milk. That's what I heard.
Goat's Milk.
Ghost Mule is my trail name. Calman is my real name.
All right.
New trail name. It sticks. It's gonna
Yeah.
stick.
Nice to meet you, Kelman. You look familiar because you have a YouTube channel, do you not?
I do. Yes.
Oh.
And
Name-
let me see if I got it right, because I'm old. I'm not actually 23. I'm about Corey's age. At any rate, is it Everyday Backpacker?
Yep, you got it.
Woo! Memory. Well, nice
Everybody
to
go
meet you, dude.
subscribe.
Nice to meet you as well.
So look up Kelman, Ghost Mule, or what? Goat's Milk. Sorry. Look up Goat's Milk at Everyday
He
Backpacker on.
shakes his head. He's like,
on
no
the
way.
every minute.
No way.
Pleasure
Did
to
that.
meet you. So my question, you appear to be sitting by some gear behind you. So I'm going to challenge you. Ben is my first favorite boss and somewhere between third and seventh favorite company. So he is indeed a great guy. But do you have any Hilltop packs sitting back there behind you?
Oh yeah.
We've been touting these
Quite a
other
few.
guys all night. We haven't even been talking about Hilltop at all.
I know I've got one of the roll top fanny packs I use for my camera gear. I've got a handful of various stuff sacks. My quilt and sleeping pad in a Hilltop bag. God, what else? I have something on the way. I just ordered one of the merino wool rags. So
Nice.
yeah,
pot rag.
I've been watching your channel for a while as well. So you've been around. We've been kind of connected back and forth for quite a while. So we certainly appreciate that support. Thank you, Tim, for sliding that in there. It was very slick. No one even caught how you're just so good at that.
Ooh, yeah.
Also, I
Smooth like
subscribed
butter.
just now, so
woohoo.
Right
Yeah.
on.
you now
Yeah,
have
check.
more.
So yeah, what's your favorite Hilltop piece? Let's go around the horn on this one quick before we end the show. We're running low on time, but
I was gonna say Tim looks like he's getting antsy, so I'll just go with the roll top fanny pack for now because it's just so convenient.
Nice.
I'll go next just so I can parrot you. And it changes on different days, but I do think, aside from my backpack, the fanny pack is the thing that never ceases to be handy for me. So now Ben, we go to the real meat and potatoes. Chad doesn't even backpack, so we'll probably just even not let him answer.
But watch this. Watch this. See what I did there?
Corey, do you own any Hilltop pack gear?
No, I actually do not.
Okay.
Smart man.
I'm fairly new to.
It's all scam.
No. Always heard good things. I just haven't personally used any in any of my experience. So what I have recent experience with is some coffee that
Right on.
I got to enjoy this last week, some whiskey. branded, flavored, whatever you want to call it, is good. It was good, and it's gone, by the way.
Nice.
Is that the bag?
There
Is
you
that
go.
the bag?
There it is.
Yeah.
All the way out in Montana.
We
What was
saw
that?
a-
Happy Camper?
Yes.
So
Nice.
Ben, I don't want to play around with your money, but maybe we could get Corey a Majestic Hammocks food bag or something.
Nah, that's all right. He's good.
Wait a minute. I don't even have one of those. So
Well,
Yeah, we'll hook you guys both
Ben and
up.
I are
I guess
making.
technically I do because I sell them on my website. So I guess maybe
Actually,
I do.
Ben and I have been doing one of those kind of like splash art things. It's all of your competitors in one, all their logos on a food bag that we're making up for you.
There you
That's
go.
And
fine.
we're going to go with Devin's. I don't know if you saw on the screen, but I love his new ad for you, which is UGQ good enough.
Yeah, no, that's
That's legit.
I'm
Good
so
enough.
confident in my brand. I will wear all of my competitors right on my back. That is fine with me.
Good deal.
That's awesome.
Okay. Awkward silence.
No. It's probably my turn to ask the question here. I also was noticing all of your beautiful gear and behind you. Surely somewhere in your purchasing in the past, you've had some gear that you regret. What is one of your biggest regrets of a piece of gear and why?
So I think one of my biggest regrets isn't the piece of gear itself, but how short of a period of time I had to use it. So I bought my first pair of trekking poles back in the 90s. That's how old I am as far as backpacking. And I had that same pair of trekking poles until I made it out here, probably a good solid 20 plus years. And on a trip here in Montana, I woke up one morning and noticed that my straps looked frayed and the handles of my trekking poles that I had had for 20 years had been eaten by a porcupine.
Really?
Yep. So I got back from that trip and we had a week-long trip coming up that same week. And so I bought a new pair of trekking poles for the first time in 20 years. And 3 days into that trip, we got a ride with somebody and I left my brand new trekking poles in the back of his truck. So he got some brand new trekking poles and I got to get new trekking poles for the price of two.
Beautiful. That's always fun. There you go. Right there. That's what I've had this week.
That's good stuff.
Yes, it is good stuff.
I know
And
somebody
thank,
asked it.
I thank you for it.
What's the proof on that, Ben?
So it's actually not real whiskey. It's sad
No.
to say we
No.
can't legally do that. So it's actually an oil that we mix into the beans after we roast it. I'll show you if you guys ever come down and check it out. I'll show you how we do it. It's pretty slick. It's actually pretty.
Definitely do that. It's worth it.
Come on.
Could you imagine if you could powder booze?
So there's some companies that take after the coffee beans and store them like in a barrel, like a whiskey barrel. And you can do that in certain states. Pennsylvania gets a little tricky. There's crazy laws, and we don't have any kind of liquor license or any way around that to do that. Although there's no real alcohol left by the time you roast it or brew it. But anyway, besides the point. I think I have a question I'm supposed to ask this guy. So here's my question. On a night before your backpacking trip, what keeps you awake?
I would have to say the concern with random encounters of moose and the possibility of running into Tim Buckley in the wild.
That is the number one answer. Actually, the Tim Buckley was the number one answer on our website. We
Ding,
told
ding,
everybody.
ding, ding, ding,
Ding, ding, ding, ding, ding.
What does he win?
I am classic. You know, I run through every scenario like in my head beforehand and will have like utmost anxiety right up until I hit the trail and then I'm fine. But I don't know if it's because of my background in the fire service or whatever. But yeah, it seems like I just spend a lot of time.
Corey's a firefighter, so
Well, I stopped in 2008, but I was a firefighter paramedic back in Ohio. So
very nice.
So
Very
did you
nice.
say moose? Did you say a moose encounter? Is that what you said?
that was the other one. Yes.
So what do you do? Have you seen one, or what do you do when you encounter one? I mean, we don't have moose around here. So what do you do? They seem like they're pretty big.
I don't know what the right answer is, but I know what I've done. We have moose here, and I have been charged by a moose. We were coming down a trail, and my buddy was about 10 feet in front of me, and all of a sudden he comes running back, and his eyes are about that big, and he's like, "Moose, moose, 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 moose!" And moose came up behind him. Some other hikers had scared this female moose with a calf up towards us. So being that we're in bear country, we do what we always do, which is pull our bear spray and get ready to let loose. But generally speaking, if they're coming at you, they don't generally charge, but if they do, you want to try to get something in between you and them because they can't corner very well. But I've had more close encounters with them than grizzlies up here, so
I could definitely outrun a moose, so it's not a problem.
Not with your hips.
I don't think you can. Yeah. Yeah, you don't have healthy hips like Rob Pelton.
I will backflip right over that.
He's old. He's an old 33. He's an old 33.
That is a fact.
All right, so we're gonna kick you out of here. It's nice chatting with you. We got time for one more, but definitely keep tuning in. We're gonna do it every single week through March. Thank you for whoever. Yeah, okay. If we're gonna bring in the guy we had last week, here he is. Hello, sir. There he is. I see you're sitting outside, and there's some stars behind you. Pretty cool.
Joshua Tree from last year.
Nice.
With the Milky Way right there.
You see the moon's hitting you on your head there. That's pretty sweet. Yeah. It looks good. Okay, awesome. So you're going to be our last guest. And you know what that means? Actually, doesn't mean anything. So we're going to let Tim ask the first question. Go, Tim.
Good to see you again, Huck. How are you?
Right. Good. Doing good.
Man, were you here? Are you aware of? I guess I'm just super kind of pumped about these majestic hammocks. So you do some hammocking first of all, right?
I have not done a hammock in a long time. I had a Cedar Ridge hammock years ago, and then it was too short. So
okay,
I'm 5'10". It was like a 10-foot hammock. So
I seem to remember. Did you maybe do a video in a hammock so you could talk trash about them?
Pretty much.
All right. Well, you got a dead end here, Corey, but I'll come up with another.
That's all right. All right. Next up is Corey. So,
yeah. It really, though, it's something I'd probably like to get back into.
Right.
I had a cheap hammock one time when we did have a soup by. That's all I slept in was like a Foxelli hammock, and then I just had the Costco quilt over.
Yeah.
It was awesome down there.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be complicated, but
Corey,
it's just fun to talk about it.
Can you smile more, Corey? You're kind of freaking me out.
I'm smiling. These eyes are smiley eyes. That's all I got.
Is it just weird? Does Corey have a bit of a McConaughey vibe?
I have heard that over the years in different arenas of hair growth.
Like a mix between McConaughey as John Wick, maybe.
Oh, I'm very jealous of the hair for sure.
Yeah. Thanks.
All right, Huck. So, what do you got planned? What's your next planned trip?
We might do another section hike of the PCT. We just did, was it last weekend? No, two weekends ago, did 27 miles. So then go from Scissor Crossing maybe up to Warner Springs, which is like 30-something miles or 35. So that might be the next one.
Well, good to see you, Jason. He's always in places I've never been and want to go, but I will pass things along. Let's go to Ben.
Good deal. Well, before I ask my question, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you, like on your YouTube channel? I like watching your videos. Everybody else should watch them as well. So go ahead and tell them.
Thank you. It's Huck Outdoors. You can find me also at huckoutdoors.com. I've started actually putting some pictures up there. Don't go to huckoutdoors.net because that is not me. That's a clothing brand that somehow popped up in the last 5 years. Never thought I'd see that happen, but yeah, Huck Outdoors on YouTube, Instagram, and huckoutdoors.com.
And Rob here saying he hopes to meet you this year at some point. So out there in
guy.
Joshua, if you could just go there and wait for Rob, he's going to be out there at some point. So there you go. Yeah. My question is, on a night before a backpacking trip, what keeps you awake?
I keep thinking I'm going to miss the alarm. So I wake up like probably 5 or 6 times, and I look over. It's like supposed to be waking up at like 5, and it's like 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock. And I keep waking up like an hour every hour on the hour. Yeah.
Good answer. So far, nobody has surprised me with any crazy answers. I don't know what I was expecting.
Every time you start your question, I'm picturing it was the night before Christmas.
Well, in my case, like my old man bladder keeps me awake at night, so I don't know. Okay, Tim. All right, let's go to Corey next. Corey, you ask your question next.
All right. So if you're not a hammocker, you've obviously bought other gear to go hike with and tent or whatever it is that you do when you're out there. What is a piece of gear that you've bought that you've regretted after the fact? What's your biggest regret in a gear purchase?
Now that I look back on it, and after using a platypus quick draw, it'd probably be my Catadine B3, because I went through probably 5, 6, 7 of those things. I love the flow, but they would always clog up.
Heard that a lot.
Yeah, it's clogged up with me, like out the hot springs, up in the Sierra. Doesn't matter. It could be crystal clear water, it could be silky water, whatever, silty water. That's clogged up like 7, 8 times.
Interesting. So what do you use now? What'd you switch to that you're happy with?
The platypus quick draw.
That's what you're at right now?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Very
Flow's
good.
great on that.
Well, good answer.
Good
Thank
answer.
you. Thank you.
Did everybody ask a question yet? Was that everybody?
I did not, but it's fine. I'm usually getting
everybody important.
Who said that?
He walked out at us in one point. I think he gets penalized. He gets docked. One question.
Before you ask the last question, before you do that, should we maybe bring in Devin? He's in the group chat. We could make Devin.
Devin, jump in here. Devin, get in here.
Yeah,
So Devin, I'm gonna post a link. Go ahead and join us here for you. Devin can be the last one, but go ahead, Jason. I'm Chad. You can ask Jason one more question.
Maybe we talked about this last week, but for those that weren't listening, or maybe we didn't, I don't remember. Quilt or sleeping bag, and why?
So
and whatever else you want to tell us.
So quilts, I tried to go back to a sleeping bag. Thought, you know what, let's go back to it. And it was like the Mountain Hardware Phantom something, some super ultralight one. And I was just so confined. Yeah, I couldn't do it. So I sold that thing and just got rid of it as quick as I could.
And what are you using now?
Well, I was a big Cedar Ridge fan. I love Cedar Ridge. I've got 2 of their stuff up there, but then they're long gone. I did buy myself a EE. That's what I use currently. But my last quilt purchase wasn't for me, but it was a UGQ.
That's right. I remember you saying that last week. And actually, I remember because we talked about that order specifically.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're ready, use code Ben is awesome.
I did see somebody put in there's another code. It was Ben is all right for 5%.
I saw that.
So I'll make
That's
sure
only
I
for
use
5%.
that.
I was going to say that code should change every week. Ben is something. It'll just rotate.
Oh,
So
Ben
here's the
is
thing: it's not
constipated.
10%
week
off
only.
the price. It's
1 week
10%
only.
off the length of the quilt. It's not 10% off the price.
Oh.
There you go. Yeah. So is Devin not going to jump in here?
Devin
No, he's
Ashby. Devin Ashby, get on here now.
Post the
You've
link,
been
Devin.
summoned.
Come on.
He's
It's
like, I'm
not
trying.
so-
I'm on the toilet. Give me a second.
Okay, if Devin doesn't jump in, that's okay.
Thank you, Jason, by the way.
Yeah. Thanks for
Jason,
having me again, guys.
Good to see you, Jason.
Nice to
Good
meet
chatting
you.
with you, buddy. Take care, man. So while we're waiting for Devin to hopefully jump in, I'm going to explain the giveaway one more time. I'm going to go ahead and go over to the screen here. So you're going to go to the website and go to the bottom of the page, click on Backpackers Blitz, and you're going to see the giveaway page. It's going to be up for the next week, for the next 6 days and 17 hours. You can sign up and you can put your email address in there to get 1 entry. Then you can get a bunch of other entries by doing a bunch of other stuff down below, like checking out our Facebook page, TikTok, Instagram, or websites, even the UGQ. The outdoor.com website, which I'll double check that link and make sure it actually does work since it's typed in wrong. That'll be up all week. And then you can there's one more thing about this. If you share it with your friends, which seems kind of silly, they do get 1 entry, but you get 20 extra entries. So how about that? That's pretty fancy. We're going to bring everybody back in here. So is Devin not coming back?
He can't. He's on the phone with somebody important, apparently. More important than us. So.
Is anyone last chance? Jump in real fast. We're going to get off here. Who wants to be the last guy? Anyone want to be the last one?
You have 30 seconds. Put a countdown on the screen. Can anybody do that?
Just count backwards.
From what number?
Hey, Corey, while we're waiting, where do we find you?
Through my website, which is majestichammock.com, or through, so there's a contact page. You can go through there if you have interest in getting hold of me, or through my Gmail, majestichammock@gmail.com. You can email me anytime.
And they're basically custom builds, right?
Yep, they're custom builds.
One of those crazy small stories where you're just, I love those stories.
Yep.
So do you have are you big fancy bougie like Chad with the big warehouse? And
Oh,
Ben,
heck
or-
no. Heck no. No, I'm very small. My shop is very small. Yeah, I see Chad's. Yeah. He tries to take over. Block him out. No, I'm a one-off, one at a time custom built at the moment. Although with the popularity, I guess, growing and people understanding who I am and what I build, people getting to try it out, that's obviously increasing the demand for them. So things will change, but try to change wisely and build this, to where it's sustainable and all. So
right on.
things are in the works to help increase production a bit, but right now it's one off for people when they're getting them. So there's quite a long waiting list currently, which is good because that means the demand's high and people actually have experienced it and want them. So we're going to work on shortening that in the future, but at the moment, get on the list if ever you're interested, and one will get built for you when it's your time.
Right on.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
now that Chad's gone, let's
Chad's
talk
gone, thank God.
let's talk to Brian now that Chad's
Can't you
gone.
bump him out? No. Shut that thing off. No.
Oh, really? I was trying to
Oh yeah, keep him in there. Keep him in there to
show people my sweet hammock.
Yeah,
Forget
forget
it.
it. Forget it. Forget
Oh,
it.
I thought that was his
They
pants.
do look sweet. I definitely I would love to get a chance to check one of those out someday. And thanks for
Yeah,
joining
absolutely.
us. But looks like we got a last minute arrival. Chad.
Hi, Brian.
All right, guys, we have one last
Sweet.
guest, and then I'm going to go to bed. So, Brian, tell us where you're from and tell us a little bit about yourself, sir.
Winchester, Kentucky.
Kentucky.
Yeah, I like to get over there at the gorge. And
There you go.
Been there a couple times myself. Pretty awesome.
Yeah, I love the gorge. It's close. It's only about 30 minutes from my house, so you pass through my town right before you get there.
Well, hopefully next time there's like a little meetup down there. Hopefully I get to come down there and you're there as well. We get to meet up at some point.
Oh yeah, they do one in October every year.
Yeah, the last couple of years I've actually been. I'm a wedding photographer, so I'm usually gone. I get the invite, I never can make it, but hopefully soon. This might be my last full season, and then maybe the year after I'll be able to make it. So
very cool.
hopefully you're there.
Absolutely.
So let's ask some questions. I'm gonna ask my question first. You're the last guest. Anyone else
All
who
right.
tries to join in, we kick you out. On a night before a backpacking trip, what keeps you awake?
Man, trying to not to forget anything. I never
What's
make the
something you
list.
forget? What is something you usually forget?
Spoon.
Spoon.
I know
Kind
it's
of
the stupidest thing in the world, but man, that sucks to forget your spoon.
You know what?
If
I
Rob
have
Felton's
forgotten.
still watching, he's laughing right now.
Tim has actually seen me do this. I've actually forgot my tent stakes on multiple occasions. I like to change up my tent quite often,
man.
and I keep my tent stakes separate for some stupid reason. And when I say separate, I mean separate from my campsite back at the house. The first time I went Buckley, he showed up with like 37 stakes, and I didn't have any. So
Man, you
thank
got
God
like
that
a
worked out.
titanium company. You should make you a bunch of extra sets.
You
to
would
have
think.
around.
Yeah, we actually have some, but I completely forgot them, but it worked out.
Oh man.
So anyway, good answer. I'm going to send it over to Tim.
Nice to meet you, Brian. Welcome.
Hey, you too.
Yes, Kentucky, the Gorge is a beautiful place.
Absolutely.
I got to say, for those of you out there that know Southern Hike, this guy looks like Taylor's older brother. There's a real resemblance.
He does. Oh my God, he does.
Not to call you old, Brian, but Taylor's a youngster.
Well, I'm 21 like you.
Nice.
So let's double back to Hilltop again. Do you have any Hilltop gear?
I got 2 pieces of Hilltop gear. I got a food bag, and I love that. And then I
Yeah.
have a camera bag. I don't love that as much, but there's nothing wrong with the camera bag. It just sits on your chest.
That's
and I
old.
can't
You've had that for a while then.
Yeah, I've had that for a while. Yeah, so what happens is you're trying to go uphill on some rocks. I can't see my feet. And so,
It's kind
yeah.
of important.
Well, it's a lot more important than you think.
We haven't
Yeah,
sold
the
that camera
camera
bag
bag.
for like 4 years. So you've had a thing for a while then.
Yeah, I've had it for probably about 4 or 5 years.
We keep talking about
Vintage.
redesigning it. I just haven't redesigned it. But there's a few
I'm
things
gonna
that
be
we
have a
do.
do
pod
it.
that just
I'm gonna
sits
do it
on one
first.
strap.
I couldn't hear you, Chad. Go ahead.
No, sorry. I was talking while he was talking. I'm ruining the whole show. I'm just gonna go on mute. Just forget me.
That's
Nah, I
okay.
can't get you.
I don't know. Just move on.
Yeah, let's move on. Thanks, Brian. We'll kick it. Let's kick it right back to Chad.
Of course.
Just because I think that's the way it should be. I mean, we don't want to end the show with Chad either. We clearly want to end the show with
That's
Corey /
That is
Matthew McConaughey stunt double. All right, so Taylor's older brother, Chad, go.
That should be his trail name, by the way.
What's that?
Go like
That has
there.
to be Brian's new trail name.
Yeah, that's a good one. I agree. Okay, Brian.
Yes, sir.
Quilt or sleeping bag?
Quilt.
Okay, next.
It was easy. Thank you, Chad.
I'll
Moving
be here
on.
all week.
Brian, nice to
I gotta
meet
get a
you,
lot of
Chad.
20
We're
degree.
moving on. All right, Brian, a question for you. Oh, I'm sorry. Back to Chad.
No, yeah, somebody mute him. How did he even get on here? I don't. Anyways, no, not muting you, muting the other guy, that long-haired guy over there. Anyways, what is your okay, so you said quilt.
Yeah.
Why quilts, and when did you start using a quilt, and why?
Well, I started using a quilt originally to lighten up my pack, and I used to try to sleep in a hammock. So I bought a UGQ. My wife actually got it for me for Christmas, and I got the 20 degree. That's best. That's my favorite piece of gear. It is so nice.
You got one, Chad. You got one.
Finally,
you got one.
Woo!
You got one. I even got your sticker up on my sticker board. You're in the middle of my sticker board.
Prove it.
Nice.
Oh,
There you go.
There it is. Dead. I
There you
like
are.
the placement. It's beautiful.
Front and center, baby.
We can end the show with that if you guys want. I'm good with that. That's it for me. Hey, it was great meeting you, Brian. I'm gonna pass you on
You too,
over
Jeff.
to Mr. Majestic.
All right.
All right, Brian. Nice to see you. Nice to meet you.
too. You too.
So my question I've been asking everybody tonight is what's one of the pieces of gear that they've regretted buying and why? And before you answer that, I'll just tell you my answer for it real quick.
Let's hear it.
Early on, when I started getting into hammocks, and this was probably 10 years or so ago, I bought a under quilt, top quilt set online very inexpensively off of Woot before I knew any better. And instant regret when I had it. It was the coldest night's sleep, couldn't figure it out, couldn't dial it in. It was garbage. So anyway, that's where I started with the whole quilt world. To answer Chad's question, quilts or sleeping bag. That was my first experience. Have no idea what brand it was. It was $50 for both. So there you go. So
Nice.
Brian, back to you. Same question for Brian then. What's a piece
All
of
right.
gear what's a piece of gear you've bought that you've regretted buying and why?
There's been several, but here's the latest. It's the Flextail mosquito lantern thing. This is absolute garbage. So I had it out in the gorge in October, and there
I
weren't
love
a
that.
lot of mosquitoes out, but they were landing on it after it had been on for an hour, and it was just like, what the hell is this thing?
They were setting up camp.
They were right on top of it, and
That's hilarious.
it lasted about 2 hours, and then it died. I was like, man, you talk about carrying out, I don't know, it's like 7-8 ounces. That thing just sucked. That's a heavy lantern.
What
I think
made
it
you get
attracted
that to begin
mosquitoes.
with? Why did you get that to begin with then?
Mosquitoes love me, and I hate them. They eat me up. And so anything that'll get rid of mosquitoes or keep them at bay, I'm a sucker for it. But yeah, that thing don't work at all.
That's hilarious, man. Great answer. Terrible product, I guess. I don't know.
I happen to have it handy.
Yeah. Good deal. Well,
All
there
right,
you go.
is
That's
that
my
everybody?
question for you, Brian. Nice to meet you. Back to you, Ben.
You too.
Good deal. Is that everybody? All the questions in? All right, Brian. Thank you very much, buddy. You hang in
Thank you,
there
guys.
and check in next week. We can
Take
come
care,
back
bro.
next week as well. Take care, buddy.
All right. Y'all take care.
Hey, real quick, Corey, on the shelf behind you, there's a trophy. I'm gonna need you to grab that and hold it up to the camera.
This here? This one?
Yep. Hold it real close.
There you go.
This
You
is
want
this,
that phone?
how many? If you're an Office fan, you recognize this Dundee Award. Although Corey's
No.
camera is so crappy, we can't read what it says, so just forget it. But I have a Dundee Award.
Oh,
there it
there it
is.
is.
Most Enthusiastic Boss Award given to me
Nice.
by myself. So
Is that your last name? I didn't know that.
what?
It's pronounced Johnson, but
Yeah, Hoopton, Houghton, Hogton, any variation of that will work.
Good deal. All right, guys.
Well, that was
Before
fun.
we go, don't forget you can sign up on the giveaway page. People have already been signing up. There's 665 entries in there already, You can
Wow.
sign up with your email. You get 1 entry. There's a bunch of other ways to get some entries. You can get like 10 entries for this, 5 entries for that. So go sign up between now and next Wednesday. We'll draw more winners next Wednesday. I'm already impressed that many have already signed up. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it actually shows you how many entries are actually on the page. So go back every day and keep signing up. So thank you so much for watching. We do this every single Wednesday in March. And then we'll go from there and see if it's worth doing. But we had over 40 people at one point. So that's pretty cool, huh? And it's still 31 people watching. You guys must be super bored.
Yeah,
Maybe they've
Wednesdays
fallen
must be
asleep
the
to
most
us.
boring night. Yeah.
Let's go around the clock here real quick. And you guys can all talk about yourself and your business real quick and how people can find you. Chad, you go first.
Chad, UGQ, the internet. Next.
Corey.
You can find me majestichammock.com. And I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I don't do a whole lot on there, but you can find me there.
Good deal. Mr. Tim Buckley, promote your personal channel there, buddy.
I'm Tim. I am a front desk agent for a multi-billion-dollar corporation. I rank 4th out of 5 on the team. And I do have a backpacking channel as a side hustle. I've made $47 in 2024, I think. So doing pretty well.
How you doing this year?
Backpacking with Buckley is that channel.
This is why you belong on my team. This is why I love you. That right there, just I can't even listen to you talk about laughing my ass off.
It is
oh my
great.
God.
Well, I also live in a small hotel room, and this backdrop is room number 38, which I was allowed to borrow for the evening, as to not disturb my partner, who is my roommate as well.
When did we get to meet her, by the way?
I have a sink and a mini fridge. So I mean, things
And
are
a
going really,
microwave.
really well. I do have air fryer. Yeah. I have a
Stepping
GMC
up.
Terrain.
Nice.
So
Nice.
that's
The
where I-
transmissions are known to go out in those, so just saying.
Yeah. I could go on and on about me, but the real star of the show, Mr. Ben McMillan. Wrap it up, my friend.
Go Ben.
This has been a lot of fun. I really do.
Take a bow,
really
Ben.
haven't
Take a
enjoyed it.
bow.
Yeah, I'm sitting down. I'm slumped and I ain't going nowhere. But me and Tim have talked about doing something like this for a while, and this is only our second show, and I'm super happy with the direction it's going. I know it's kind of loosey goosey, but this is fun for me. This isn't just business. This is a way to kind of have fun with you guys on the screen, and of course, you guys in the chat. So this has been something I've wanted to do for a long time, and it kind of fills that need and want to do some kind of podcast or live stream, and this is it. So for the next few weeks, we're gonna keep doing it. Corey, I appreciate you joining in, man. We'll have you come back again soon if we continue to keep doing this, of course.
Sounds great. Thanks
If
for having me.
the ratings fall down, we'll bring you back. And
Comment, keep going if you want us to keep going.
There you go.
All right, guys. Well, we're gonna wrap it up right there. We will talk to you next Wednesday, or of course, we'll comment throughout the week on different posts and stuff on the interwebs there, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.